Today, we're going to be tying up a fly pattern that might just save your trip. We'll start off with a brown bead and a 2x long nymph hook. Secure your thread to the hook shank, snapping the excess free. We'll then wrap backwards to the start of the bend of the hook, creating small buildup of thread before grabbing some rubber legs. Here I'm using a bonefish tan. Secure your legs to one side before folding it over and securing it to the other. We'll wrap back on them slightly, heading back towards the thread dam, before snipping them to length. Whip finish. Snip your thread free, moving your bead backwards and securing your thread to the head of the fly. Here, once again we'll create a small thread dam before securing a rubber leg to one side, just as we did at the back of the fly, wrapping back on it slightly before folding it over and securing it to the other. And if you'd like to win this fly, comment #flies in the comments below. And if you don't win, you can help support the channel by picking up a fly box on our website or submitting a custom order form to get any flies you'd like. Secure your rubber legs in place before snipping them to length. Lay down a thread base. We'll then whip finish before snipping the excess free. We'll slide our bead back forward before securing our thread in place behind it. Snap the excess free. Grab some brassy wire. Here I'm using copper. Insert the copper wire into the bead to help secure it in place, wrapping it back towards our tail. At which point we'll grab some flashabou. Here I'm using pearl. Secure it to the side of our hook shank. Once again, wrapping back towards our tail. We'll then grab some hare's ear. Here I'm using a tannish yellow. We'll pull some free, create a dubbing noodle, and begin wrapping it forward in close touching spirals, building up a transition as we work towards the head of the fly. Continuing to add or tighten the dubbing as needed. And of course, brush it out to give it a nice, buggy look. Grab some flashabou, taking thread wraps both in front as well as behind. At which point we'll secure it in place and snipping the excess free. We'll then grab our copper wire, wrapping it forward once again in open spirals. This will add a segmented look as well as increase the durability of our pattern. Continue wrapping forward until you reach your thread before securing both in front as well as behind our wire and helicoptering the excess free. And of course brush it out to give it that nice buggy look. We'll then grab a bit of crystal flash. Here I'm using gold, securing a few strands to the top of the fly. We'll then snip these to length to be about the length of our body and grab some more hare's ear. This time I'm using a natural color. Create another dubbing noodle and wrap this just in front of your crystal flash before brushing it out to give it that nice buggy look. At which point we'll grab some CDC. Here I'm using a sulfur color. Secure it to the head of the fly, hackling it around the head of our fly a couple times before securing it in place. Snip your excess free and trim the CDC to length. This will help add more movement to the pattern, as well as make it more lifelike by trapping some air bubbles. At which point, we'll grab some partridge feathers. Select a single feather. I like to use an oversized hackle to increase the movement of this pattern. Pull your feathers backwards, creating a small triangle, snipping it short, and securing it just behind our bead. At which point, we'll grab our feather, brushing the fibers backwards, and hackling it just behind our bead for 1 to 2 turns, before securing it in place, snipping your excess free, and grabbing some crystal flash. Here I'm using tan. Create another dubbing noodle and wrap this just in front of your partridge in CDC. This will help add some shine to the head of our fly, as well as give it a brush back look. Brush it out to give it that nice buggy look, and whip finish to hold everything in place. And this is a fly known as the Trip Saver. It has an extreme amount of movement, incorporating rubber legs, CDC, and partridge, all in one pattern. And I definitely recommend giving it a shot as your dropper. Whether you're imitating helgramites, stoneflies, or a large March brown, this fly's got you covered. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.